All right, here we go. Let's see what we got here. So first of all, we're going to start with logistics. The logistics are, I'd like you to download a document. Okay. That document you can either make a copy of within Google Documents, or you can download it so you have it on your local drive. But you won't be able to edit the documents because I've put a restriction on the document. And what you will find in that document are the following things. You'll find links to the other stuff. So if you want to download the slides from this presentation, there's a link to me saying if you want to connect with me, a link to some websites. And you will also get the stuff on the right, which is on page 2, which is the exercise we're going to go through. And I'm going to show you how to build ideas with ChatGPT, a step-by-step process where you do this in around 20 minutes. And the thing that's kind of scary for me is actually I've taken a live challenge. I cheated. I got actually a bit nervous. I was going to do it all live. And then I'm actually glad I did it because actually ChatGPT fell down when it was doing the ideation work. So I had to do a different version of it, but I will let you guys try it and I'll explain to you how you can avoid the problems. So when everybody's got that document open, tell me, raise your hand if you got it open. Miguel, you got it open there? All right, cool. We're on to the races. I will keep on putting, it says your LinkedIn is not valid. Okay. So I know I have a LinkedIn. And shit. I know why it's not valid. I have my correct LinkedIn address doesn't have .com at the end of it. So I'm not BryanCassady.com. All right, let's go. So what are we going to see in this talk? Just to set expectations, a unique way to integrate AI in the innovation process. Some real facts. Now, one of the things that I find is always challenging is every guru in the world has an opinion. Some gurus are right, some gurus are wrong, but sometimes they're wrong just by accident. I've got a little bit of an academic bent, which means I try to look for facts to back things up. And you're going to find some facts on how good AI is at creating ideas versus human beings. You're going to see some results on different creativity methods using AI. By the way, who in the group here, and maybe you put it in the chat, believes that human beings are better at creating ideas than AI? And you can just put a yes or no. No. Gosh, we're gonna have some disappointed people. Keep on going. Yes.
Depends.
Yes.
Yeah. Depends.
All right. So we got half and half, half and half. We're about 50-50. What I'm going to show you is actually for a specific type of innovation challenge, which is a challenge which is either analogy or search. When you're looking for ideas, and that is the way that you're looking for ideas, AI is going to beat human beings, and it's going to beat human beings pretty consistently. If you're asking AI to develop the next breakthrough product like a mobile phone, it has no history to be able to identify an idea like a mobile phone. But if what it's doing is it's looking for things that exist already and reapplying, it's really good. I'm going to give you some ideas on how to work best with AI. I'm going to give you some links to some free stuff, and I'm going to take you through a practical learn by doing exercise. And we'll see if we get through everything in the time available. And I see that the formatting got a little bit messed up, but you can still see the slide. Who am I? I'm Bryan Cassady. A lot of you know me. I'm the director of the Global Entrepreneurship Alliance. I'm on a mission right now, and that is to coach, train 1 million entrepreneurs by 2027. My background, I'm an 11-time entrepreneur. I've done 8 successful companies in 6 different countries. If I look at the 1 million target, I'm a long ways off. Last year, I taught about 5,000 students. So if I continue at this rate, I need approximately 200 years to get there. and I'm not going to live another 200 years. For me, AI is a big part of the plans going forward. But I want to tell you, I wasn't in love with AI at first sight. And frankly, like about half of you here, I didn't believe AI could do much in the area of creativity. And what's happened is I've done some research, I've done some work, and I'm going to tell you my views have changed quite a lot. And maybe some of the things I've learned along the way are going to be useful to you. Who do I work with? Well, I work with lots of different companies and lots of different industries. They're all different. Sometimes they make tough requests, sometimes they make easy requests. The favorite thing I do with companies, my absolute favorite, is to run one-day ideation sessions. The reason why those are my favorite, you show up, you do something, at the end of the day, you have this massive result, and then you leave. And it's like painting a house. You get someplace and it's done. And the problem with it, if you're an intellectual worker, a lot of times your work doesn't get done during the day. So this is something I like to do. Sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't. Let me tell you how I got started with AI in the ideation space. I had an idea day planned in Spain. I had 25 technical people. I got a call about a week before saying there's been a change of plans. You remember, that event you're running next week? You had a full day. Well, now you got to run it in 2 hours. I said, well, shoot, that's a little bit unfair. What do you do after that? Well, the first thing I did is spent a little bit of time procrastinating and avoiding the issue. And Tuesday night, the day before the event, I made a decision, let's do everything with AI. And basically, I had some tools in place. And I said, look, let's see what happens. I know that I can't do a typical ideation session in one day. So, what's the risk? I mean, it's not going to work otherwise, so might as well give it a shot. So what I did is I set up a plan. It was a tight plan, basically 20 minutes to agree the challenges and split people into groups, 20 minutes to generate 90 ideas per group, 25 minutes to get people to decide on one idea and merge them into one, 30 minutes to make a pitch, and 25 minutes for Shark Tank presentations. When I presented this to the engineers, they said, well, Bryan, it's not our fault. We're not the one to cut the length of the day. How are we going to do all this? And I said, well, look, guys, let's give it a shot and see if we can make it work. What we did with this is we did a large part of the day with something called TRIZ. And I don't know how many people here know anything about TRIZ. And I imagine there's even less people here who could pronounce what TRIZ is in Russian. But TRIZ was the hero of the day for us. In fact, we used all the ideation stuff around TRIZ, and I'll talk a little bit about that. What it means is the theory of inventive problem solving. And we use this to generate about 100 ideas in 20 minutes. The idea behind TRIZ, it's a bit complicated. It's powerful, but it usually takes about a week to learn. But the reality is with AI and a little bit of knowledge, you can get started in minutes. The basics of TRIZ are the following. It's a Russian guy who studied 250,000 patents, and he found that for 97% of all patents, they were being issued for ideas that exist already. And for those 97% of ideas that exist already, 40 proven inventive principles cover about 90% of those innovations. So those innovation principles are the ways that those ideas were found. And he came up with the following statements that basically, if you apply these principles, you get proven ways to solve many of your challenges with ideas proven in other industries. And if you don't get a solution, you at least get new ideas. Now, the event I was running was for an industrial company. First of all, it wouldn't be very interesting for a lot of you. But second, they don't let me share the results of some of the ideation sessions. So what I'd like to do is explain to you just briefly what this tool is with a product some of you might know and love, which is Oreo cookies. What we start with is just a basic prompt, something that says, please generate 40 ideas, one for each of the 40 TRIZ inventive principles, Our challenge is new, authentic Oreo products that taste like Oreos. And what you'll get is it'll take the inventive principles that are there. So in this case, you might have something like, segmentation, and those segmentation generates a bunch of ideas. And then what you'll get on the other side is you'll get different ideas popping out. Now, I can't go through all the ideas you come up with there, but if you look at some of them, they're actually quite good. We have Oreo fill the principle of the nested doll, which is a very Russian thing. These doll within a doll within a doll. They said that's an inventive principle. I imagine only a Russian would see that as a principle. You have Oreo filled chocolate bars. They have the ideas of counterweights. You have Oreo crusted savory snacks. The principle of partial excessive action. You have Oreo flavor enhancer sprayer powder. What I find interesting about this type of process is not only are the ideas pretty good, but they're almost always feasible. They're almost always something that works. Now, what were the results of the day? Well, they say that people make plans and God laughs. We divided up the people in different groups. They moved at different speeds. We ended up getting approximately two really good ideas in 130 minutes. And the groups were so excited they didn't want to stop. Now, you could say we failed because we went 10 minutes over time. But I guarantee you, to get 25 engineers developing real actionable ideas in a 2-hour session for a typical industrial product, which I know nothing about, is a heck of a good result. Mm-hmm. And what we ended up with, we ended the day with a pitching session. We used different tools to help them pitch. They all looked like stars. Everyone went home saying, wow, what a great day. For me, I went back on the flight and I said, wow, was that amazing? But what incredibly hard work it was. A lot of times when you bring a new tool into a session, what you have is you have difficulties integrating those tools in, and you don't have a process or a methodology to use it. And I said, how could I do this again? But how could I make things easier? How could I cover the whole process? And how could I get better interaction with the AI stuff? So let me give you a little context, and we're almost to the point where we're going to share some cool results too. So I teach and I use a standard innovation process. I call it the ABCs of innovation. I call it the ABCs because there's an expression in English which is it's as easy as the ABCs. This is also the same as the plan, do, study, act. It's the same as build, measure, learn from the lean startup. And basically what it does is it goes through a process which starts, and I think you see my, oh shoot, you don't see it. Hold on a second. Do you see my cursor here? Yeah, you do. So it starts with alignment. It goes through alignment is figure out what you want to do. Second step is you build stuff. The fourth step is you communicate the things that you build. And the last step is you systematically improve. So what I did is I said, look, let's look at what I want to do here and use this same process. And I started out saying, what is known about AI? What's possible? And what would happen if I made a bet on it? And I found out a few things. One is the stuff about TRIZ, the facts and figures, and also a lot of research showing that, in fact, when you do ideation, what you'll find is that AI almost always wins. I said, look, let's build some stuff to make this easier. And I've actually gone through 4 versions of a set of tools. The first one is the one I used at the event here. It was pretty ugly. The second one was I had a little bit of integration, a little bit of fine tuning. The third is I had a test version, which was done in December. And somebody's got their microphone on in the background here. Mark, I'm going to mute you here. And the last version is the one we have today, which is 265 tools and 6 apps. Now, I was assuming this would go really fast. But one of the problems with programming stuff with the large language models is the large language models never do the same thing twice, which is one of the things that's cool, but it also makes it really hard to program. what we've done right now is we've done some beta testing. I'd like to say that every beta tester was really excited about what came out. I did 24. One of them said it's the most stupid thing I've ever come across. One of them said, look, I just don't understand it. But 22 said, wow, this is really cool. It helps me go step by step. And I'll take in a world where I win 22 out of 24 times. The biggest issue that came up was a bit of data overload. So when you use AI, you can generate lots of stuff. You can write your 160-page book in 20 minutes that nobody will read. You can generate lots of ideas that nobody will use, all that kind of stuff. So what we're looking at now is how do we improve the process? And most importantly, how do we summarize ideas effectively? What we've learned in this process is a couple important things. One is, I asked you before, who's better, humans or AI? The answer is, well, actually, neither one's a clear winner. And honestly, it doesn't make a difference. And the reason why it doesn't make a difference is it's not going to be a future where humans work alone or AI works alone. It's always going to be humans and AI working together. What you can look at, you have a second level, which is humans plus AI. And the humans plus AI tend to be better and faster at the innovation process. But humans tend to over-rely on AI and they make a lot of stupid mistakes. And what happens, there's a study that was done by Harvard and Boston Consulting Group. Even the rocket scientists that are working at Boston Consulting Group get fooled by AI. So what AI does is it not only gives you the wrong answer, but it's really good at convincing you the wrong answer is the right answer. The right solution is what I would call humans plus smart AI. Humans plus smart AI is actually about using tools, knowledge on how to use the tools, and knowledge on how to interact with the tools. And it's what you need to do is keep a sort of a healthy viewpoint saying, look, you know what, this isn't perfect, but I'm going to work with it. I'm going to use it, augmented intelligence, not artificial intelligence. And in fact, I saw that in one of the people that came up there, and also the AI hallucination. What you get is even better, even faster, and you have less failures. To give you an idea of what we're doing right now is we're running innovation sprints, which used to take 4 to 5 days. We run them in 2.5 days. They're easier. They generate somewhere 2 to 3 times more ideas, and we have more time for idea testing. So not only are they faster, but they're better. So let me put things through, explain in practice how we've done this and how we built the tools. So we built tools for the whole innovation process, and I'm talking too long here. Each stage starts with an input, then some AI tools, then humans plus AI leading to some sort of output. So if I looked at the alignment process, the input is what's your business about? There's an AI analysis. Then we ask you to think about the results, and you have an output, which is, in this case, a true north. And a true north for me is a description of an innovation challenge. So what we've done is we created tools for the whole process: align, build, communicate, check, so on and so forth. The output from one stage is the input at the next stage. So if you look, you remember those double diamonds that you learned about in innovation? It's a double diamond. You start someplace, you expand, you settle down, and you keep on going forward. Now, it might look like it's going straight forward, simply A, B, C, but in fact, the reality is you go forward 3 steps, you go back 2 steps. It's all an iterative process. But if you try to explain that or draw it, nobody understands it. You just have to know that, in fact, it's not just as simple as going forward. So what I'm going to talk about today is what I think is actually the easiest part of the innovation process, but what everybody seems to get really excited about, which is building ideas. And I'm going to talk about this in the context of mechanical creativity, and I'm going to give you some real facts and figures, and I'm going to let you try things out. So does anybody have any questions up until now? I have my chat open on another screen, so if you're throwing in questions, I'll answer them there. We're not a huge group. Go ahead, Andrew.
Just a quick question. You made references to this obscure Russian methodology. Are the LLMs that are out there now aware of it? Do they know how to work with it, how to apply it?
Yep. So if you say, look, I need to buy a gift for my wife, I don't know what to get her, but she likes this. Please give me an idea for a gift using the 40 Triz inventive principles. It'll give you 40 gift ideas for your wife.
Okay. And so if we build tools based on that assumption, is it a safe assumption that all future versions of the LLM, whatever LLM you pick for your solution, will still retain that knowledge? Or is that something that we can feed into the LLM? And if so, have you looked into how to do that?
So actually, you're sort of jumping something I'm going to talk to you about. So the LLMs know certain things and they don't know certain things. And some of the LLMs know certain things that the other LLMs don't. The LLM that I'm using most often is ChatGPT because it is the most comprehensive and it is the fastest.
ChatGPT or GPT-4?
I'll
Or
actually
does it
come
matter
to
for your purposes?
No, it does matter. In fact, what you'll see is ChatGPT-4, if you give it a tough challenge, it's better at solving the problem, but it's a lot slower. If your challenge is search, ChatGPT 3.5 is better. And in fact, what failed today is when I was doing the exercise, it actually overloaded ChatGPT 4 and it fell down. It just said, I refuse to continue. I'm not going to do anything else for you. I'm done. So you have to, but let me go forward here. And the other thing that you're leading into, Andrew, is one of the things you can do is you can explain a methodology to the LLM. So one of the things we have is we have 80 ideation principles, of which I think about 15 were known by ChatGPT, which means that we had 65 we needed to explain. So what we done is we created a prompt which said, look, we'd like to create you to create ideas according to this method. This is how the method works, and this is how you do it. And then it can follow the instructions. So before we get into some results, I'd like to give you a bit of theory. There's some basics of effective innovation if you're working with AI or not AI. And basically, it's a math problem. And the number of good ideas you get are based on the clarity of your challenge. If your challenge is not clear or your challenge is wrong, you will get the wrong solutions. Your ability to solve that problem is usually based on stimulus. So how much stimulus you get in and how much diversity you have. In fact, there's a lot of research showing that, in fact, in group work, in fact, diversity is more important than talent. If you take a group of really smart guys from Google and you add a less intelligent guy from a factory, the results of that group will typically go up and not go down because there's more diversity. That middle chart there, that green bit I stole from somebody else. It's a great group called Innovation Engineering. And it says, look, the last part here is a question of fear. So in fact, your ability to generate ideas, the amount of stimulus you have, the amount of diversity divided by the amount of fear. And for me, the most important part of the innovation process, the before and the after, do you know what you want to do? And afterwards is, are you reviewing and improving those ideas in an effective way? Because in fact, you don't get the perfect idea the first time. It's actually the process of going forward. So we've built a toolkit based on these foundations. It basically works in 3 stages. You select a method. In this case, you could select, for example, Triz. In your step 2, you define your challenge, and we use something called True North. You can use whatever format you want, but you can't use it with our tool because our tool uses that format. And you press number 3, which is click. And what you'll do is you will get lots and lots and lots of ideas. And it will continue going on. It continues going on. We call this mechanical creativity. And actually what happens is you do a few clicks, you get thousands of ideas on the other side. Now, let me tell you a little bit about what happens in practice. So what we did is we did some research on mechanical creativity on an innovation challenge, which is in the academic literature right now. Some of the work is being done by a guy named Ethan Mullick. I don't know, some of you might know him or not know him. It's also done by some people at Cornell, which is my alma mater. And what they do is they look at the ability to solve wicked challenges. A wicked challenge is something where there isn't an obvious answer and there isn't a right answer or a wrong answer. And the challenge that they work on is develop, and that they've used in the research right now, is can you develop ideas for college to sell physical products to college students in the US? The price of the product needs to be less than $50, and you need to clearly describe it. And the way that they evaluate the quality of those ideas is two levels: purchase intention and novelty. It's okay, pretty straightforward. So what we decided to do is we decided to try different ways to generate ideas. We ended up with 5,402 ideas after about 2 hours. We had, well, actually, it's not true. We had 740, which were from human beings. Those took a lot longer than 2 hours, and it took us approximately, we have probably 40 different people that submitted ideas for the challenge. We had 8,314 total ideas. And one of the things that comes up, and I was talking about before about the problem with LLMs, you can give them a specific instruction and it will still ignore what you want them to do. So 35% of the ideas were not for things that were in our challenge. So we had to remove those. So what we've got now is we have 81 ideation methods, and we can compare those different methods versus one another. And let me give you an idea of what's there. So we had human beings by themselves, no help from AI. We had human beings with no training, said, look, go use AI to figure out what you can do. We had a third level down, which is, and we'll keep on going through this. A next level down is we started with ChatGPT 3.5 and 4.0, and we asked them, the large language model, to give us 200 ideas to solve this problem. One of the things that we did is we had a clear definition of the problem at the start. So we turned that description that they had in the article into a true north. And in fact, what you'll see is when you write it as a true north, you get more ideas. So basically 3.5, 4.0, give me ideas. The second one is we tried alternative views. Imagine you're Apple, imagine you're Einstein, imagine you're Elon Musk, imagine you are a frog under a bridge, imagine you're a troll. Come up with an idea on how to solve this problem. The next one we did is we did, the traditional creativity methods, Scamper, De Bono's 6 thinking hats, all that kind of stuff. We had a next level up, which is creative combinations. These are combine different stimulus together to make something. Build me an idea that's red, rhymes with pickles, and makes it easier to study. And then the LLM has to come up with an answer, and we can give it lots and lots of different combinations. And by the way, a quick way to get an LLM to generate lots of ideas, you generate, for example, 3 lists. You have 10 stimuli here, 10 stimuli here, and 10 stimuli here. And you say, combine these. And if you do your math, 10 times 10 times 10, that's 1,000 ideas. And if you're willing to press continue enough times, it'll give you 1,000 ideas. We had a full collection of 42 less known ideas. So these are all different types of things you don't know. And then we had Triz. Okay, but we had a problem. Okay, so we had 81 methods and a lot of ideas, and there was too many ideas for people to evaluate. So what do? So either I hire an army of people to evaluate ideas, or I find a different way to evaluate them. So one of the things that we did is we checked out evaluating the ideas with AI. So now here, one of the problems is, can AI generate it and evaluate it? So what we did is we had one LLM generate it and another one evaluate it. And then we had one, and then we tried with the same LLM to evaluate it. The way that we did this, we created synthetic profiles. We tested and improved them. One of the things that's quite interesting is the synthetic profiles that we developed. They told us there was not enough diversity So we need to have a handicapped person, and we needed to have a woman who was LGBT something. I don't know what it was, but basically they took our 10 and added a few more. Then we tested 10 humans versus 12 AI for evaluating these ideas. Part of the things that we did is we have a limited data set. We did 300 ideas from AI, 100 from the humans. We did 50 duplicates. You mean so that there were 25 from AI that were repeated and 25 from human that were repeated, and they were scored based on purchase, intention, novelty, and surprise. The first thing that we found is there was no statistical difference in the ratings between the humans versus the AI, with one exception. AI was nicer than human beings. Everything is rated higher. And it's like Lake Wabagon, where everybody's above average and all your kids are beautiful. AI rates everything higher. So what you need is you need to add a dummy variable. When the dummy variable is there, there's no difference. We tried AI rating the human ideas and the humans rating the AI ideas. We did find a difference there. AI didn't care if your ideas weren't structured, but the humans liked the way the AI talked. So in fact, the humans gave the AI ideas better scores than they gave the human ideas. And the most equally important, there was a higher reliability. Any non-Americans get the Lake Wabagon reference? I don't think so, John. I think that's only for us Midwesterners who watch NPR every once in a while. But it's you got to throw in a bit of color every once in a while. The other thing that was interesting was a question of correlation. And this is a research study we're still finalizing right now. The humans were less correlated with one another than with the AI consistently. In fact, the AI was a more accurate representation for the whole group of ratings than any individual human being was. And it was the correlations were there. So what we had, a bunch of unique personas. If you want to see how we did this, what we did is we created synthetic user profiles. If you get the copies of the slides, you can say, look, here's my idea. I'd like you to evaluate it. What we did in this case, we generated a whole bunch of different profiles to evaluate it. And for each idea, we got a whole bunch of evaluations. And then we got individual feedback from all the AI stuff. So we said, AI gives a better result. AI gives a more consistent result. So therefore, we can use AI to evaluate this. Okay, it'll be published in June this year. But here comes the big number for you. Here comes the drum roll. The first thing which we have to look at is the quality of the ideas that come out. And the quality of idea was measured by utility and novelty. So how useful is the idea? How much would you want this thing? And what you'll see here is there's not much of a difference in terms of idea quality. So in fact, the humans were the lowest in the bunch. The AI, as we went down, got better. But the difference between these two is statistically significant, but it's not practically significant. Meaning that in fact, the quality of the ideas generated on average is about the same. The second part of an idea is something about novelty. And there is a technical way to measure novelty. That's something that's called cosine similarity. And what this is it measures how similar ideas which are generated come out. Nolan, I'm going to come back to your question here in just a second. So what cosine similarity does is it takes an idea and a concept and it measures how close things are. So this is a very happy person is very similar to this is a happy person. And it's actually more similar to this is a happy dog than today is a sunny day. Okay, so in fact, what you can measure an idea by how close they are. Now, how it does this, you can't ask me. I'm not the person who does this. The machine does this. But basically, what you can do is you just score from 0 to 1. 0 means everything is completely different, and 1 means they're exactly the same. So what we have as a second level is we have this measure of cosine similarity. And what you'll see here is you'll see a big difference between humans and the AI. Humans are more diverse. Humans have less similarity in the ideas that they generate than the AI. So therefore, you would say, the ideas are about the same in terms of quality, and they're much more diverse. It must be that humans are going to be better at doing this work. That would seem to be a logical conclusion. Now, if I'm here presenting this, I can tell you the answer is different than that. So the first question I have to ask you is, do you really want 5,000 ideas? The answer is probably no. Actually, what you want is a few good ideas. So what we did is, by every method, we grouped the ideas and we drew in a line, and we have the scores, and everything above a certain point, which is the 95th percentile, we said, those are the good ideas. And what we wanted to do is look at the number of ideas that are above the top level. Does this make sense to everybody? And actually, I'm going to go backwards a step here. So I've got, Noel, can this lead to overgeneration of ideas, quantitative? Noel, yes, we can overgenerate ideas. In fact, I'm looking at the chat right now. Can this lead to the overgeneration of ideas, quantity over quality? Yes, AI can generate too many ideas. And in fact, what you'll find is the ideas get worse over time. Is there anything you've done to help reduce her? Carolina, have I done anything to reduce groupthink? Yes, actually, what I do is I show all the prompts to experts, and I also have them evaluated in terms of results by other experts. And Hervé Jean-Baptiste, have you done any studies measuring how well agents? Hervé, this is actually probably the best question. Is, in fact, if we measure the quality of ideas, the question is, has there been any studies comparing the results in the market of ideas based on AI actually in market performance? And the answer is no. So what we are in is a theoretical world, and we don't have those results, but it's something that will come. Let me tell you what I can tell you. So this chart here, does it make sense to people? So basically what we're doing is we say, look, we have all the ideas, we rank them from the very best to the very worst. So we have 2,000, 5,000 ideas. We have 250 ideas that are top ideas. And now what we want to do is we want to see the number of ideas that fall in the tops. And here's where the rubber hits the world, as to say. So on human beings, they had approximately one idea out of 100 that were in the top 5%. When the human beings used AI, they ended up with 1.5 ideas per 100. They say, okay, that's pretty cool. If when they use AI and they're actually told, actually structure your question in a way that it understands it, you get a little bit better. But the real thing is this stuff down here. So in fact, when we start using different tools to prompt AI to be more effective, what we end up with is numbers somewhere between 5 out of 100 in the top 5% and 8 out of 100. So in fact, 5 to 8 times more big ideas. God, I've been talking way too long. I'm not going to get to my results. Shit. Okay, so basic number, better stimuli, 4 to 7 times more ideas. I'm going to give you 5 more results, and I'm going to whiz through this because actually I want you to try this stuff out. Okay, what are the other results? First result, we tested generating ideas with the original description and generated ideas where we tell ChatGPT a story. You would say, well, how is a story going to help? A story helps ChatGPT just like it helps human beings. We understand things in story because a story gives us context. What we see is when we add a story, we end up with better results in terms of the number of ideas that fall in the right numbers. There was a question earlier about what happens over time. Does ChatGPT get tired? Do we generate too many ideas? In fact, if you ask too many ideas the same way, the ideas get crappy. So what happens is ChatGPT gets tired, so the quality of ideas goes down over time. There was another question earlier, which was from Andrew, which is about ChatGPT 3.4 or 4.0. If you just ask it to generate ideas, what you'll find is 4.0 generates better, more top ideas than 3.0 because it's smarter. If you're asking it to search for ideas, they're about the same. And in fact, in our case, 3.5 outperforms slightly. And if you're looking at things which are analogy based, in fact, 4.0 performs better. So basically, when you're lazy and you don't define things, or when your questions are tough, the 4.0 is going to do better. And then I have a challenge for the audience. What is the one single best way to increase the number of ideas on any project, whether it's in person or with AI? Does anybody have an idea? See if I see messages coming in. So let's see if somebody put one in. Use better creative thinking tools. Specificity, that's a good answer. In fact, specificity is probably part of the answer. In fact, when you specify different problems, what you will get is you will get better solutions. So the best way to get more ideas is quite simply what you want to do is you want to have different ways that you're defining your challenge. So in fact, if we say, look, the number of top ideas, if we have challenge number one, but then we redefine the challenge and say, look, we want to do something sort of like this, you get more ideas and you get a big overlap. So what we have is we've validated this bit. So we alternative definition number one, this takes a bit of time. We see we end up with additional ideas and we assume that we get more ideas. Okay. How do we work together? So the biggest potential is basically using humans plus AI to define what you want to do, using AIs to do mechanical creativity, using AI to evaluate ideas, use humans to select the ideas, and using humans plus AI to merge the ideas and make better stuff. Does it all matter? Maybe, maybe not, but I can tell you what I see in practice is we run right now a 5-day idea sprint in 2.5 days. We generate 2 to 3 times more ideas, and we run absolutely amazing 1-day ideation sessions, just out of this world, knock it out of the ballpark. But we don't do amazing 2-hour sessions. 2 hours is too short. So, damn it. I got stuck here. I talked too long. What I've got is I'm going to ask a show of hands here. I can do this in 2 ways. I can take you through the exercise where you actually do the exercise live with me. And it will take us about 10 minutes over time. And anybody who wants to leave, you leave 10 minutes early. No problems. Or the other option is I just go through it and I show you the results and you just trust me. So would you rather do it? And I think doing it is better. Or would you rather just trust me and say, how we do this? Can I get a vote? Trust you, do it. We're 50%. Trust you, trust you, trust you. You seem like a trustworthy guy. Okay, well, trust me. All right. So what you've got is you have a document, which is at this level. If you go tiny CC, mechanical creativity dem, what you are going to see is a step-by-step process, which you can go through at your own leisure outside of this meeting. And you just have to follow the thing step by step. And what I'm going to do is show you what you see, and I'm going to take you through the results, just showing things one step by step. So what you see in this process is the first step is you log into your LLM. We've seen the best results coming from ChatGPT 4.0. Unfortunately, it's pretty slow. And unfortunately, also it follows instructions. So if you tell it not to do something, it actually doesn't do it, which means it goes much slower in terms of idea generation. And it failed today when we were running it. If you're searching on 3.5, it's about the same result, but it's about 3 to 4 times faster. If anyone wants to do a parallel test and send me the results, I'd be really excited. I give you all the power. So give me an example of what we saw here. We ran the test I'm going to show you in just a second, and it said, I give up. I stop. I'm not going to do it anymore. So I asked it to generate 80 distinct ideas based on TRIZ. And basically, it tells me it's an excessively long operation, and I'm not going to do it for you. A hint for you, when ChatGPT tells you no, you tell it, yes, you can, and it will do it. But I didn't have time to do this. So the first step in the process, and I'm going to show you the output in just a second, is you have a prompt, which is in the document. And the prompt is saying, look, we would like you to look at a challenge, and we'd like you to analyze this challenge. And we put the challenge in a true north format. It does have self-confidence issues. You can use any format you want, but basically what you need to do is you need to have a story, you need to have objectives, you need to have restrictions, and you need to give it places to search for ideas. The second stage is you give it a prompt to go look for ideas. We have in the document, we have 3 sets of prompts. We have TRIZ, we have famous people, related stimuli. We have another 80 that are there. And basically the key elements are you give it a stimulus, you do a force association. If you give it unrelated stimuli, if you say, look, it has to be a type of an animal or something like that, you'll get more novelty, but lower utility. Valencia, actually one of the things that's really funny here, you said, does AI will have emotions at some point in time? I tested a prompt which has said, look, I will give you a tip if you do this right. And actually ChatGPT cheated. It actually rated itself better than before. And I said to it, look, you're cheating. And it came back, and I have the screenshot of it. Yes, I was cheating, but I thought that's what you wanted. So it does have a bit of human emotion there. Don't you get So Simon, don't you get a network error on ChatGPT when you give it too complex a task? Yes, you do a lot of times. So you can do this, and I'll show you in just a second the results that we got when we tested this. Next step is you evaluate the ideas. So evaluate and make a short list. You now have your short list, and what you're going to do is you say, look, we would like you to choose an idea, and we'd like you to have different people evaluate it. You've put in your idea, and what it does here is it gives you takes an idea, it evaluates it from different perspectives, has synthetic users look at it, and then it all comes together and you have a final result. So let me show you what this looks like. So I've got, shoot, this is not it. Give me just a second. Give me just a second. It's one of these. Hold on. This is the problem when you have all these panels open. Give me just a second. Oh, damn. Okay, so we're going to go to, oh, here it is. Okay. So what we did is when we got this to 4.0, we started here, and in the middle it just said, look, I give up. Okay, so what I have is a version of this chat, which is basically starting out. So it starts out with your input. So all the prompts in the session refer to our challenge. Please tell me you understand the challenge. And ChatGPT will tell you what it understands. This gives it the background of where it needs to go. And it says, okay, I got it. I'm in the right direction. We now say, please generate a bunch of ideas based on this idea and methodology. Don't just tell me what to do, but actually really give me the ideas. There's a funny part of this prompt, which is give me unique ideas, and you have to explain what a unique idea is to ChatGPT. It doesn't understand the concept of uniqueness. And what it does is it starts generating ideas. So by the way, this whole thing here took me about 15 minutes to do, but I know what I'm doing. So it generates all of these ideas. It keeps on going. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. And we finally get down to the point where, by the way, if you test this at home, you'll. Okay, so we get to this point here. Please review the ideas you just generated. Please pick 3 ideas that deliver on our objectives most effectively and tell us why that's a good idea. And then it will go through all of those ideas and it'll pick 3. That's kind of cool. So then what we did is we said, look, I'm going to pick one of these. And so we're working on a presentation to our management team. I'd like you to create people to evaluate this idea from my management team. I'd like you to summarize the feedback. I'd like you to write up a business concept for me. And I'd like you to evaluate the idea that we just got out of the stuff that's there. Okay. There's an issue here, by the way. If you just take what ChatGPT gives you, you're being lazy and you probably aren't going to get great results. What you should do is look at what you're putting in and be a smart human being, a smart user, so that in fact, what you're doing is actually useful to what you're doing. And says, sure, it gives me the feedback from all these different perspectives, feedback from the different personas. It gives me suggestions how to change it. It rewrites my whole concept. And here I am at the end. So what it's done in this time is you defined an objective. You say, give me ideas according to that objective. Evaluate those ideas. Choose one. Evaluate it from different people. Use feedback that you could get and make a better version. You can do this really cool. Does this make sense to people? So if you trust me and you run it on your own, I guarantee you'll get the same results. You've got the results. What I challenge you to do is to change it around and to use a challenge from your own personal life and see if it gives you stuff that's interesting. So in fact, if you go into this document here, so basically all you need to do is you need to fill in the stuff about the true north according to your challenge. Or Andrew, in your case, in terms of your client's challenge. Okay, guys, I'm down to 1 minute.
Really, but yeah.
So here we are. So what you should have done is you should have been amazed. You should have said, wow, this is really cool. I didn't know I could do this. Wow, wow, wow. So what you saw is 4 tools out of 265 tools and 6 apps. Imagine what you could have done with all 265. You could have 5,000 ideas. You can have lots of ways to communicate your ideas differently. You can have lots of better ways to put it together. Now, the conclusions that'll come out of this is it really doesn't matter if humans or AI are better. What matters is how you work with AI. If you give it the wrong challenge, it will give you the wrong answer. If you don't evaluate the ideas that come out of it, you're just going to get trash. The way to work with AI best is to have 3 things. One is to have domain expertise. So whatever you're developing ideas for, you should know what you're developing ideas for. And if you should probably have domain expertise if you're trying to be innovative in innovation. If you want to learn to use AI for sales, you should know AI for sales. Secondly, you should use tools. What we saw before is the number of ideas generated versus a naive approach to AI, and the actual hard use of AI is about double to triple the number of ideas, and you have to work together with AI. So if innovation is your business, here's my sales pitch, by the way. It's excuse me for that. But basically, if your innovation is your business, you can be a beta tester, try out the stuff we're doing. We run AI for innovation courses. Instead of it being 1 hour where it's really fast, we do sprints, we do 5-day sessions, or you can do it on your own. You can get some free stuff for your feedback. So basically, if you go to that link, you get a book copy of my book, you get a method report card. So all these different ideation methods are scored from 1 to 80, and you'll see what's best and worst. You'll get access to our toolkit. and we do customized tool training programs. If you want, you can try out our toolkit and give it a run. And basically, what I can tell you is with AI, you can innovate better, faster, and easier.